Hey, so today I'm going to talk about this book right here. This is Peter Pan by Barrie, and I loved this so much. I have a lot of tabs on the side because I have a lot of favorite parts, and yeah, let's start talking about it. So if you don't know what Peter Pan is about, it is about Peter Pan who breaks into, or who comes into the Darling nursery where the children sleep, and he entices them and invites them to come to a magical place called Neverland, and they say yes, obviously, and he teaches them how to fly, and then they fly because you need to fly to Neverland because you need to take the second star on the right and fly until morning. It's the second star on the right, right? Yeah. And so yes, they go to Neverland, which is this amazing, incredible, magical place where anything can happen and where you can let your imagination fly and do amazing things. And yeah, so that's kind of the premise of the story. Now onto my thoughts about this book, which were basically all, this is amazing. The first thing I want to talk about is the writing style and the narrative voice, which are incredible. They are so unique and so different and so just captivating and amazing. Like, the whole way through I was completely captivated. I feel like if you read this to a child, or if a child read this, they would be captivated as well, because not only is it so creative and so like interesting the whole way through, but it feels like the narrator's kind of talking directly to you and kind of conspiring with you about what's happening on Neverland, which is really cool. And I just found it so interesting and so captivating the whole way through, and so creative and different as well. And as well as that, it was also really intelligent, which I sort of wasn't expecting it to be. You can understand it as a child, but there are like a lot actually of like little parts and little things that are sort of hidden, and just the way that the narrator speaks is very intelligently, and you know, they don't hold back and try to dumb things down. They sort of speak to you very intelligently and speak about things very intelligently as well. So you could still understand it as a child, but as an adult it's still really interesting and still really, you know, intelligent and creative. And as well as that, there's also an underlying sort of conversation or commentary about children. So this is like a children's book where the narrator is talking to you and commentating on children. And the basic commentary is that children are foolish and narcissistic and selfish. I mean, that's not the only commentary on children, but that is something that's talked about a lot, how children are narcissistic and selfish and foolish, and how they only think about themselves and stuff like that. And that was really interesting to have a children's book be commentating that way about children. And it would definitely like fly over their heads, but reading it like as an adult is really interesting. And I don't know, it was just unexpected, and I didn't expect it to be there, and it was just really fun, sort of. I sort of felt like I was conspiring with the author, but also we had like this secret joke on the side. So yeah, the person that this commentary is mostly about, it's about everyone in the book. Every child sort of has that sort of commentary about them, but the main person obviously is Peter, who is absolutely one of my favorite characters in any book ever. He might be my favorite character from anything, because he is just the most interesting, complex, multifaceted person ever. He is obviously, you know, the child of all children, and so when the book talks about children being selfish and being narcissistic and stuff, he is like the prime example. And I really love that there are like, he's talked about as being brave and strong, and everyone likes him, and he's a leader, and he has all these really great qualities, but at the same time he is so arrogant and so up himself and so narcissistic, and that is commented on, and it's not hidden at all, and it's sort of like there. Like, Peter is a leader and he's a great person and he's brave, but he's also an arrogant person. And I love that there's that balance. I don't think I've ever read a book, or I can't think of a book right now, where the main character, like the protagonist, is so well balanced, is such a good person but also a bad person. So yeah, that was really interesting and really unexpected, especially for this book. The other thing that I was surprised about this book was that it's really honest in its portrayal of things, and it's so like, it's like a sort of whimsical, like, you know, creative, crazy story, but at the same time there are lots of parts where the author doesn't hold back. It's written simply, but like he doesn't hold anything back from you, and there are parts that were unexpectedly sad. The end of this book is not the same as like the end that I know from like the movies and stuff, and I was like, it was just so unexpected and so honest and sort of raw in the way that it was done. Not so much raw, but like unapologetic about what was happening, and honest about it, and that was really great to see in the book. I had such high expectations for this book, and it was amazing. The last thing I'm gonna talk about, because I'm gonna go on and on if I don't stop myself. The last thing, obviously, is that this book is like the most creative, imaginative book ever. And the intricacy of that, the intricacy of the ideas that are done, and the like different aspects of the book, and the family, and the characteristics of the family, like everything is done so creatively and differently, and it's amazing. It's amazing. There are only two negative things that I have to say about this book, and that is that there's racism in regards to Native Americans being called Redskins in this book, which isn't great. And then the other thing is the sexism. Wendy is just sort of obsessed with being a mother and with mothering, and because she's the only female character in the book, and because of the level of her obsession, and just it sort of feels like that's what she's there to do, to be a mother, and there's sort of almost no other option. Like, she likes it better than anything else, which is fine, but there's sort of a sexism feel going on there. It is a product of its time because it's written in 1902, I think, but it still is there, so that's not great, but I still really love the book so much, and I definitely recommend it to you. It is amazing. 5 out of 5. Definitely check it out if you haven't, and if you have read the book, tell me what you thought about it in the comment section below. That is all I have to say. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.